Okay, step 5 to managing prolapse symptoms whilst learning the kettlebell swing. I'm going to give you some pro tips. So follow everything I've done so far and you're going to have a great kettlebell swing. But there are a few things that you can do to make that even better. Alright, one of the things that we are doing with a kettlebell swing is we are using a ballistic movement. So that means that we are combining strength and speed to create power. That's going to give you an incredible overall conditioning workout. You are going to get that heart rate up big time, and you're going to create some power in the hips that you can use for other things as well, like jump squats and running and all those sorts of things. We need strength and power in our glutes and our hips and our core, which putting strength and speed together, we create power for those other movements. So one of the things that I see go wrong with the kettlebell swing is actually using weight that's too light. Now, I know this kind of contradicts what I said earlier. What you want to do is you want to learn the movement first, make sure that you are getting the technique right for the weight that you are using. But once you've got that, then you want to start focusing, excuse me, on creating power. And the way to do that is to get stronger and faster, all right? Now, getting faster with the kettlebell swing is usually comes from the snap in the hips instead of just being very swingy, okay? So we want to make sure that our hip thrust is really strong. The other thing so that's the speed component. The strength component is by upping the weight on your kettlebell. So instead of using something light, start challenging yourself by grabbing something a little bit heavier. So what I can do here is I can test my speed, my hip thrust speed, okay, and I can test the weight to create some power. So I've got a 20 kilo here as opposed to an 8 kilo that I've been demonstrating with so far, and gauging everything and already my heart rate spikes and I can really feel the strength work happening in my hamstrings and my glutes once I go a little bit heavier. Okay, one of the other things that is a bit of a pro tip for you, and I mentioned that with the lat engagement, was making sure that the arms don't get away from the body. When I see some people do kettlebell swings, I see, and I'll try and demonstrate it on the side so you can see, their arms fly really high and their armpits are very open there, okay? If I've got my lats engaged properly, what you'll find is that my arms are very close to my body as opposed to up here. So that's pro tip number 2, engage those lats and keep those upper arms close to the body. Pro tip number 3 is to keep your hands close to your upper thighs, not down low. And that comes back to the squatty versus hingey swing. All right, so have a look at your swing. When you come in, your hands should be up nice and high as opposed to down low and your forearms going through. So you want to come up, keep it, the hands nice and high in between your legs. All right, and is that 3? Pro tip number 4 was about using or creating weightlessness with the kettlebell. So the whole idea of a kettlebell is to get the weight of this ball up to a certain point where it's weightless, okay? And then you're going to use gravity to let it come back down. What I see a lot of the times with the kettlebell swing is once it reaches up here, we tend to start hinging early and bringing that kettlebell back down too soon. What you want to do is you want to use the weightlessness of the bell up here, and as it can't go anymore, you're going to allow it to start coming back down using gravity, and then you're going to allow that to pull you back down as opposed to you bringing it down. So you're going to let the ball or the bell bring you down. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to do it where I'm generating the hinge and bringing the kettlebell down first, so you can see that. So here I'm literally pulling the bell down. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to show you how to let the kettlebell do the work for you. So I'm going to let it come to a certain point and then I'm going to let it pull me back down. My arm's getting away from me there because it's gotten too light for me. So as you can see there, I've allowed my arms, once I sort of feel the sides of my arms start to connect here, and I can't keep up straight anymore without having to bend over with the weight, that's when I hinge, okay? So that's pro tip number 4. Don't hinge too early. Let the weight of the kettlebell bring you back down into that hinge. And there you have it. That is the 5th step to managing prolapse symptoms whilst learning the kettlebell swing.